Well, let's see. Make sure it's a long thingy-dingy.
Thingy-a-dingy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest super entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, New York Comic Con gives us some great footage with a Justice League trailer.
Hell yeah.
The Runaways first teaser footage.
Mm-hmm.
That very specific Pacific Rim 2 trailer Mike wants to talk about. And more.
Yeah, I felt like maybe we should have called this episode like the trailer park or something like that. Every once in a while, we get a little bit of synergy with like some sort of cross-promotional event where we just get a bunch of trailers dumped on us. And if we were to record this trailer, or if we were to record this episode just one day later, we would have had one more trailer to add to this that we'll talk about a little bit later in the show.
Well, I think that the trailer for tomorrow deserves its own special standout moment, Mike, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I mean, New York Comic Con kind of came out of the left field for me personally, because it feels like San Diego just finished.
Yeah, I feel like the studios save their big guns for San Diego, and there's some cases sometimes where something's not quite ready for Comic-Con, so maybe they'll wait till New York, but usually it's a good timing for television because New York Comic-Con just happened. I think we're about to get all the CW shows coming back in like a week or two, so that's coming pretty quickly. If it's a show that's maybe like a mid-season replacement, that's going to be happening in January. We obviously got some like Netflix and Hulu shows coming up soon, so yeah, there's a lot of it's a good timing. It's all about timing, San Diego Comic-Con's in the summer. This is, beginning of the fall.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's so fall here, Mike. It's been raining all day on me, like almost all weekend, and it's that time where leaves are starting to change and starting to fall, like literally fall, because that's the season's name, Mike. Get it? You get
Yes.
it? So, I mean, it doesn't... I figured New York, to me, it's a little colder. I always associate it with colder weather, like end of October, but I mean, it's here, and as most people know, I'm a big Funko Pop collector, Mike. Mm-hmm. And with every convention, they have convention exclusives that come out in this time frame. And San Diego is the bigger haul. They have a lot more San Diego exclusives than New York. And this New York one, I got one that I think you would be very, very interested in. It's
what's that?
Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster from the
That's
Thor
awesome.
movie.
Yeah, every once in a while I can appreciate a pop vinyl. I don't think I necessarily need to own them. I think I like owning them in their keychain version just because I get to kind of take them out in the world, and I feel like they serve at least a bit of functionality to them more than just kind of like a display. But I don't know if this was for New York Comic Con, but I did see that there's some Kingdom Hearts pop vinyls coming out. And I was like, oh, those look so cool too, but I'm probably not going to get them. If they come in a keychain, maybe I'll get those.
Which I mean, Kingdom Hearts, I missed that gaming franchise. It wasn't for me, but they've doubled down on their Funkos for that. I've seen regular versions of the characters. They just released for New York Comic Con the Halloween Town versions of Goofy and Donald.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a Tron World 3-pack that you can get at GameStop as well. So if you're into the Tron versions of those characters.
Yeah. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some Cuphead pop vinyl sooner or later. And I would be really curious if there does end up being it. Will they be hollow at the top? Or will they kind of... Because I think there is liquid maybe in their cups, so maybe they'll actually just show that. But they'll have to kind of like deviate a little bit from the shape of the pop vinyl to kind of do that indent.
So Funko they actually are making vinyl Cupheads, but they're not doing the pop vinyl version of Cupheads. Okay. They're doing the regular ones. Because they don't do eyeballs on pop vinyls, on the ones that I have. So to remove those eyeballs from Cuphead, I think would make them look weird. So
yeah, it would detract from that 30s design.
So they're making them exactly as they are in regular vinyl form rather than the pops. So but people are into those.
But besides pop vinyls, what have you been up to before we jump into the news?
That's a good question. I don't really know. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I put it in my notes here so I wouldn't forget. The beta for Battlefront 2 has been out this weekend, the open beta. And I'm big into Star Wars. You're big into Star Wars. And the first game leaves a lot to be desired. The second iteration adds a campaign story. It maintains arcade mode, which is like 2-player couch co-op, even split screen. Nice. And then the online on this takes place. I got to play as the battle droids and clones from Naboo on Naboo.
Oh, nice. Okay, that'd be fun.
It's beautiful. It plays very fun. The actual classes you choose are very diverse, and the weapons are awesome. The sounds of Star Wars are fully there, Mike. Hearing the droids go Roger, Roger, like it just, as much as we hate the Phantom Menace, the sounds are there. So
yeah, I mean, there are some unique fun things that you can still pull out of that prequel trilogy.
Yeah, and they also don't care about continuity anymore. They're like, you know what, let's have Rey be in this if you want to select Rey as a playable character. So you don't have to worry about was this character alive or at this actual battle anymore. So you can really get into it. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot more balanced than it was. Had a good time with it. Can't recommend it enough. Can't wait till it comes out in November. So been doing that. Mike, what have you been doing out in LA? I mean, away from the New York Comic Con, on the other end of the world. What's going on there?
Well, I'll do my best to keep this story brief, because I'm sure a lot of people want to know what happened at New York this weekend. But this weekend out here in LA, we were participating in the Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce McDonald's, rebranding, relaunch, or whatever you want to call it.
The special sauce Saturday is what I'm going to call it.
Yes.
And you are a glutton for pain. Let me just tell you that right now. So.
Yes, exactly. So just to sum it up very briefly, what this whole event was is McDonald's wanted to capitalize on the Szechuan sauce that popped up in season 3, episode 1 of a Rick and Morty this year, where that Szechuan sauce popped up and everyone was freaking out about it. So they're like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to release this brand new, like, buttermilk chicken tender or whatever. We'll rebrand all of our old sauces. We'll bring back the Szechuan sauce for one day, and people can come to select McDonald's locations, and they can partake, and have a fun time. Nothing was Rick and Morty branded, but everybody knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. Everybody in my line was all wearing Rick and Morty shirts. Everyone was on the same page. They wanted that one sauce. No one cared about the chicken fingers. And if they were true fans, they would have ordered nuggets at the same time, because that's what they do in the show. They dip the nuggets in the Szechuan sauce, and that's how it was done back in the day when it was that Mulan sauce. So anyway, the event starts around 2. I naively show up an hour beforehand. I mean, I knew there was going to be a line, but I was under the assumption that these were sauce packets. You could easily manufacture thousands of these things, and even a store could hold thousands of them just in a couple boxes. So I was just like, even if the line's really long, as long as I'm patient and I wait, I'll get to try the sauce. And it'll be a fun, memorable time, and I can see what all the hype is about. I wasn't too serious about it, because I only showed up an hour beforehand. Some people were there like 24 hours ahead of time. The first person in line had been there for 24 hours. I heard some people, were obviously there for longer time, for shorter periods of time, but still long. Some people didn't get sauce, waiting like 5 hours in line. So I obviously had no shot. The big problem here with McDonald's is, for a city with 4 million people living in it, they only decided one McDonald's would participate in the Szechuan sauce, and that McDonald's only got 50 sauces. 50
wow.
For how many Rick and Morty fans live in this city.
That's totally enough.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
It's just like ridiculous, and it was really funny because we were in the back of the line, and like rumors would start to swirl and filter back in the line. It's like, oh, somebody said they only had a couple packets of sauce, and some people were saying, oh, they're out of the sauces already, and we were all just like, well, that's not possible. This is supposed to start at 2. It's still like 1:30, so all these rumors were swirling and stuff. But somehow the line kept moving forward even before 2 o'clock. So we're like, what's going on here? So I don't know if people were abandoning the line towards the front or what, but, we were happy to be moving. We made some friends in the line that were from Denmark. So if they happen to be scrolling through my Facebook profile, because we've connected on social media.
Oh, that's cute.
It was awesome meeting you guys, and I look forward to taking you up on your invitation to see you guys in Copenhagen. So I got to make some friends online. That was cool. But it devolved very quickly into what just some people described as a riot. to where we were about halfway through the line. Luckily, we were in some shade. And I start looking up, and I'm just like, oh, there's a helicopter up there. And I was like, oh, I bet that's like a news helicopter. It's like, oh, that's funny. They see this whole big long line. They think it's like newsworthy. Ha ha ha, chuckle, chuckle. The copter won't go away, and it circles back around and goes like, that's not a news chopper. That's black and white. That's the LAPD flying around above us. And I'm like, what is going on? Then I look forward, and I can kind of see the McDonald's off in the distance, and there's these like 2 cop cars up there with their lights blaring in front of the McDonald's. We're like, what is going on up there? We had no clue. Like, no one really wanted to get on the line to see what was going on. So we got around to sending a scout up there to see what was going on. But when that happened, the cops started driving down the line saying like, we're all out of sauce. We're closing down the McDonald's. Some idiot tried to get inside and steal all the sauce. And
that's
so the
truly a Rick and Morty story.
Oh my god, it was crazy. It was hilarious. Like, I wasn't even disappointed. Like, it was a very memorable day. Totally different story at the beginning of the line. I did some research when I got home because I had to know what happened. Apparently, the manager at the McDonald's just did not anticipate the ridiculous turnout. They wanted to do their best to make it fair, so they were going to hand out like raffle tickets and raffle off the sauces. But then, of course, the front of the line is pissed because those first, 50 people there had been there for literally a day, all overnight trying to get the sauce. So there's a fury, there's a rage. I heard reports that the manager was like in tears over like one of those like blowhorns, like telling people, she was sorry. And it was madness, and I've heard some similar reports other places around the world, or I guess around the country. So It was crazy, crazy story, but I wasn't too disappointed. Me and the new friends got some chicken and waffles at Roscoe's down the street, so we salvaged the day, but definitely an interesting story.
Well, if any one of our listeners happen to get their hands on Szechuan sauce and wants to be super fans, you can send it to us. We'll try it out for you. Yes. But I don't expect that to happen at all. But that sounds like a hell of a story because it also brings back to one of the New York Comic Con pop vinyls is actually the guy eating the sauce from the Rick and Morty. So you can actually get, I think it was Krombopolis Michael or something like that, but whoever Nathan Fillion voiced, they have a pop vinyl of him eating the Szechuan sauce.
Perfect timing. And I think Dan Harmon was like, they were probably actually both maybe at New York Comic Con this weekend, so they may have been away from the LA Rick and Morty riots as we unfortunately were in the thick of. But it was fun, exciting, and hopefully that story didn't go on too long, but there's a lot to unpack there.
A little bit, and the only thing that was not to unpack was the Szechuan sauce. So I feel your pain, but it's all right.
There was indeed some people that got the sauce and slowly drove by the line and held it out the window like they had slayed a dragon, and we were all like cheering for them, so it's a very, very fun time.
Yeah, the stupidest stuff bring people together, man. That's how we do it. But that sounds like fun. Sounds like you salvaged it. Sounds good. And instead, I've sat around and I actually, what I did this weekend? I went and watched Blade Runner 2049, Mike. I forgot about that because I've been to two movies this weekend.
It sounds like you're segueing into the news there.
I am a little bit here. So Blade Runner 2049, I was able to go out and see this yesterday during the day. Mm-hmm. It was not the IMAX showing because I messed up my times when I was planning this out, because whether you know it or not, The Princess and the Frog was back in theaters this week at my theater.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I was not dating my wife at the time. This was 8 years ago. I went to her college and somehow we ended up watching this movie with some other people at a the campus, like, I don't know. Yeah, like at Purdue, they had you can go and watch the movie theater on campus. Kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So we ended up watching it there with friends, and I was like, this is the first movie I remember seeing with my wife together, full movie. So when it's in theater, I'm like, you know what, I'll be sweet and we'll go see it in theater like it should have been. So we did that, and then the next day I had the times for it written down instead of Blade Runner. But I gotta say, I definitely agree with the critics on Blade Runner, Mike. If I was to say so, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing.
I'm not a huge fan of the first one. Not a huge fan. I watched the director's cut on Wednesday in anticipation. It's hard to be sucked into that movie. There's a lot of slow parts, and it's very noirish. But this one is long. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but you don't feel it. And it's beautiful, and it's unapologetically the sequel to the first one. It even looks like it. Like, they went through a lot of trouble to make it feel like, nothing's new and shiny, and there's not updated technology. This is the same technology from back then.
From your from your point of view, do you think you need to do your homework and at least watch one version of the first movie, or can you go into this without ever hearing of Blade Runner before?
I would watch the first one. This leans heavily on a scene from the first movie.
Okay.
But I mean, you could probably get away with it. They do give you a lot, but I mean, you need to watch the first one before you go into this one. I feel that's to me. I don't think you have to, but I feel you should. Like you're gonna feel better about it going into this one.
Yeah, I'm really curious how this is gonna look box office wise, because I just checked, and I think if this movie is gonna be successful, it's gonna need to grow some legs maybe throughout the fall. And hopefully do a little bit better. It looked like it had a pretty poor weekend. There's probably a lot that can be analyzed going into that, but that's a shame. I mean, a great director, the cinematography looked amazing, amazing actors in it, but maybe we just weren't ready for another Blade Runner quite yet.
I mean, kind of going from the box office numbers, like October's a shit month for numbers, and when Blade Runner is number one with $30,000. In the second place
you mean 33 million?
33 million, sorry. And second place is 10 million. Like that's low. That is a very low box office number. So I don't think it's the movie's fault. I just don't think it's a
there's lots to factor in.
Yeah,
it's just a shame. Like you said, it was a good movie. It's just not quite. I mean, I guess it's not one of those things where just like, oh man, you mean we're not going to get a third one? It's just like I don't think. It came out. That was the hurdle, just getting it out there. So you got it, Blade Runner fans. You got your second one. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really matter if it makes any money because you probably don't want the third one.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna say you probably do. Like there's gonna be a third one. There has to be a third. Not that it ends on a cliffhanger or but like the third This one, if you've seen the first one, it ends a lot like the first one, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to know more about these characters.
Well, the Blade Runner is a Ridley Scott film. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
The first one, I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. We all thought we were going to get more Alien after Covenant, and it's looking a little shaky.
Well, he didn't do this one at all, so I can't relate this one to Blade Runner, or to Ridley Scott. He just produced it. He didn't have anything to do with the story or anything, so... I wish there was a third one. We'll see how it goes legs wise and internationally.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know.
But definitely, if I was to say anything, this is how Ghost in the Shell should have looked. If I was to say anything, like it looks like Ghost in the Shell should have looked. So
yeah, well, all right.
But other than that, we've been talking about it leading up to it. New York Comic Con is going on right now. It's finishing up this as we speak. It's 5:00 on a Sunday in New York. So we've got some New York Comic Con news. A lot has come out of this. Not nearly as much as I'd hoped, if I was to be honest. I don't know, and we're going to go through this and maybe talk it out a little bit. But the first big thing out of here, I was got to say, is the brand new Justice League trailer, Mike.
Yes, kind of came in at the 11th hour on a Sunday morning, I believe. But this was kind of like this was the big thing. You know, it's the biggest franchise with the biggest, I guess, thing to prove, if you will.
A lot of questions surrounding the production of Justice League and how it's going to turn out and everything. And we got this. It's called the Heroes trailer, and it's called Heroes because the song in the background is a cover of David Bowie's Heroes song, or the song called Heroes. So, if that's why, not just because they're superheroes, Mike. I know that's what you were thinking. But I gotta get your impression. What did you think of the Justice League trailer?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty down the middle about it, just because I didn't really need this trailer. I think if I was a big, hardcore, Justice League fanatic, and I just wanted this movie so bad, I probably would have skipped this trailer. I think I would have had seen enough by now, but knowing everything that's gone on in this movie, I was like, well, I gotta check out one of these last trailers. I want to see if Joss Whedon's influence made it into this cut. I want to see if I can pull any of that out. There's a lot riding on this movie, but to me it's just kind of like this crazy experiment, and I kind of want to know how it plays out. So I feel like I don't really have a dog in the fight when it comes to it. So I went into the trailer just kind of like, yeah, whatever, give me whatever you can. There's kind of like two main things I can pull out of this. Was we get kind of like that kind of like Superman fake out at the beginning. Obviously, everybody knows Superman's going to be coming back in some fashion. You know, we talked about Mustache Gate, you know, a while back. He's coming back. So I liked how they handled it, though, at the beginning of the trailer. They're still kind of playing coy. You know, we got to see Clark, but more as like a dream, a fake out.
Maybe
so we'll see how
it's cut to look like a fake out, but I think that scene might be in there.
Oh, maybe. It could be some sneaky cuts. And then also there's that Aquaman scene where he's just like, my man. That's, you know.
I think there's going to be so many Aquaman one-liners in this thing. He's like, was it the strongest man stands alone or something like that? And he's like, that's not the saying at all. So like, I think there's going to be a lot of Aquaman one-liners that he just has that people are going to keep going with. And he looked like Jason Momoa looks like he's having so much fun that it's infectious. I'm like, oh
yeah, you just want to be on set with them and have fun with them. Mm-hmm. There was a weird moment. I don't know if you caught it, and I just never bothered to pause just because I just like to think that it's there. But is Zack Snyder in the trailer? Does he turn into dust in that? It looks like maybe a flashback scene.
No, I don't think that's him. I think that's somebody else.
I wasn't sure. It just looks exactly like them. I was like, really, Zach? Are you putting yourself as an extra in the movie? So putting yourself right in the trailer.
So it's funny you mentioned that. There's two things that stick out to me, and one thing I didn't even think of before today. So first off is that it looks like either parademons or Steppenwolf has the ability to turn people into parademons. Because he wasn't turning into dust, he was actually transforming into something.
Okay.
Because his teeth go sharp and pointy.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Interesting, yeah. So we're gonna see how that aligns up with their comic books. In the comic books, parademons can create other parademons. So that's something we might see. But also, Batman has like a 3D scan, holographic scan of Superman in one of the scenes that he's looking at, and I think in the last trailer we got, he says, he said you'd return. I think Batman has had like monitors put on Superman's casket and like where he is, and he knows that he's not dead, because Batman. The last thing Batman wants is someone experimenting on Kryptonian DNA again and creating another Doomsday.
Yeah, that's true. He is always prepared for everything, as his character is, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like 10 minutes after the last scene of Batman Superman, he brought in a backhoe and just dug him up, and he's like, I'm taking this dude to the Batcave. I can't just leave him in the ground in Kansas. That's way too dangerous.
Yeah. So he's like, oh yeah, this is definitely... I need to make sure nobody finds his DNA and makes another Doomsday from a dead Kryptonian again. So... I think he knows a lot more than he's letting on, and we'll probably see that kind of play out in the movie. I didn't even think of that. Like, oh yeah, Batman, he usually plans for the worst, no matter how like morbid and grotesque it is. Like he's usually ready for it.
There's a few nice little glamour shots of our heroes. There's some nice shots where the Flash is kind of like mark, set, go and running. Cyborg's doing some stuff. All the CG is kind of a little bit more polished up. I saw some people online comparing like identical scenes from the last trailer to this trailer. So they're still like, working on it for sure. Wonder Woman, of course, is front and center in quite a few action scenes. So she's looking pretty badass. There's a moment where she kind of like flips that sword up, kind of like you're kicking a skateboard up to your hand. So that was pretty cool. So, I think this movie is going to be fun. I'm just curious if it's going to be a mess or not, So it's kind of nice not having a lot riding on it in my brain. I'm just going to like show up. Hopefully tickets will go on sale soon. I'll probably see this one on a Thursday night. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm also as well. I don't think it'll be as much of a mess as we probably made it out to be. My assumption is Whedon was going off the script already and just being like, all right, we got to get this stuff done. Here's a checklist kind of thing.
Well, that's a hopeful way to look at it.
That is a very hopeful way to look at it. But I mean, who knows? The characters look like they're having fun, and that's enough for me. So I'm going to take a fun movie. Hopefully, knock on wood there with Justice League. Also, from New York Comic Con, a little different here, but it was one of the bigger news things for some reason. Are you a Walking Dead person still, Mike, or you gave up on it?
No, I'm still on it. I'm still in there.
Okay, well, The Walking Dead, I believe it starts tonight. Is it tonight back on? Next week?
No, I think we got another week or two.
Okay, because I know it's October, and they like to hit that Halloween month pretty hard with zombies. But Walking Dead is going to cross over with Fear the Walking Dead. And the theory is that one character will cross over to the other one. And with Fear the Walking Dead having pretty low ratings, I assume someone from The Walking Dead will be going over there to pick that show up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. all I'm thinking is I don't want Fear the Walking Dead to rub off on The Walking Dead. I think The Walking Dead has done a pretty decent job rebounding from season 2. I don't think it's really the prestige show that it may have used to be, but I think it's still fun, and we still look forward to it. And watch it on Sunday nights. Watch it as soon as we can, so nothing's spoiled. But it's no Breaking Bad, it's no Game of Thrones anymore. But it's still huge viewers. It's still drawing like one of the highest cable audiences out there right now for a drama. So we still like it. But yeah, we gave Fear the Walking Dead a chance. The first season was all right. The second season just went downhill so quickly we just gave up on it. So I have no idea what characters are still left alive in that season. So. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But they talked about them kind of crossing at one point in time, so that might be kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of fear when it comes to Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking. Yeah, if it ends, I don't think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. But yeah, I don't know. But also, season 8 does debut the 22nd. You were right, Mike, of October, and this is 100th episode. I keep forgetting it's been around enough to have 100 episods.
Yeah, is someone going to syndicate this hour-long drama on like TBS? They're going to air it like 5 nights a week somewhere.
Oh yeah, TNT maybe. One of those channels that starts with a T. You know how it goes. So they got that going for them. So good for them. Big news. Probably bigger for us next week. The Star Wars: The Last Jedi trailer will debut tomorrow night.
That's right.
Hopefully, Mike will have his Star Wars battle cry back next week after this first.
We'll have to see. I'm not sure yet
because this is, I believe, the first official trailer that will be debuting tomorrow on ESPN in the halftime for the Vikings and Bears game. The game starts at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. So we probably won't see that till like 10, maybe 10:30.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird that it's going to be premiering on television because it makes me wonder how long it's going to be. I don't think it's hard to imagine getting like a full 3-minute packed trailer, when it's supposed to air like on cable. It's probably going to be shorter, maybe like a minute 30 seconds. It's weird. Like, I believe you when you say it's like the first official trailer, but we've already had like 2 teaser trailers now, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Well, we had the the announcement teaser and then the April teaser, which are just going back and watching. They're just flashes of things going on. No real, hey, here's what the movie's gonna be. Kind of thing.
But I feel like I already have everything that I need to see. And there's actually been several think pieces out there published saying like I know exactly as much as I need to know about Star Wars. I don't need to know more. So I think we said this last week. I'm gonna let you watch it first and just let me know if you think it's going to reveal too much. I don't want to know anything more about the story. That's the big thing. They can go ahead and they can show me like big flashy like scenes and like awesome vistas and maybe a cool droid here or there, but I don't want to know any more about the story than I know now. So I might skip this trailer mainly just because we're in October. We are not far away from this movie. I don't really need anything else, but I think the biggest thing that I have to know is once this trailer airs, we got to go buy our tickets.
That's right. So the announcement came that the trailer was coming tomorrow, and then and the rumor was tickets would go on sale, and then as soon as that rumor hit, every theater is like, yeah, we're selling our tickets tomorrow. Like, buy your tickets tomorrow as soon as the trailer airs. So 10 p.m. tomorrow, get your Star Wars tickets ASAP. Hopefully they're at your favorite local theater. I got mine at a theater I absolutely fucking hated for the Force Awakens. But now I have 2 pretty good ones nearby now where I moved, and I'm looking forward to maybe seeing an IMAX.
That would be nice. Some tips. I believe we brought this up last time when we talked about the Force Awakens tickets. I don't know if it's going to be as much of a mad rush since the cork has already been opened on the new Star Wars the last 2 years, but maybe try to avoid bigger sites like Fandango that sell tickets for many different theaters. Like, I know for a fact my theater is a Cinemark theater, so I'm not going to go to Fandango to get those tickets. I'm just going to go to Cinemark.com, and I'm probably going to have a better chance doing that to get the tickets. But hopefully maybe these movie theaters have invested in some infrastructure, and then maybe they can handle all of these people coming tomorrow. Maybe they bought some room on some CDNs or something out there. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, definitely. And my suggestion, as always, go to a theater that has reserved seating, and you can pick your seats now.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have to wait like 3 hours the day of to get anything good.
I would never buy unreserved seats for a Thursday night showing of a big franchise like that. Never.
Yeah, smart. So yeah, I agree. I'm gonna keep my eyes open and ears low to the ground on that. So I think I got mine before the trailer aired last time because they accidentally put it up.
Yeah, it wasn't like 1-to-1. They were just like, hey, let's drop it a couple minutes before the trailer, and so
yeah. So
we'll find
cool.
out.
Yeah, and I'm on the other end. I think it's gonna be a 2-minute trailer because Disney owns Lucasfilm and they own ESPN, and it's a halftime thing, not a regular commercial thing. So if they can sell tickets, I think they'll give them the most tickets sold in the history of the world. Round number 2. I think they'll do it. So I don't know. We'll talk about it next week. We'll know more next week. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a panel this weekend. Speaking of TV, Marvel had some TV stuff, but not all their TV stuff there, and it was very disappointing. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. surprised me with some of their news. Season 5 is going to debut December 1st. That's a Friday with a 2-hour premiere episode, Mike. And they will see the Kree and other aliens return in the show. They're going to space, and they're going all out with their aliens, buddy. Like, they're not holding back.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a shock to me because I was honestly expecting like January, like maybe the show would premiere like January, I don't know, like 23rd, like somewhere like in the later bit of the month. But it's cool to see that we're going to see this kind of before like all these big blockbusters show up in December. So that'll be fun. I'm really curious what they're going to do in space. It kind of almost seems like they're like, hey, we got maybe one season left in us. Let's just kind of go all out and go crazy in space and let's see what'll happen. So I'm looking forward to this, and that's surprising. There's been several seasons where I've been like, I'm not looking forward to any of this at all.
Yeah, I mean, although they didn't have like a big reveal at San Diego or New York with a Ghost Rider car this year, definitely the fact they're going to space, and they showed the first 20 minutes of episode 1, and apparently the special effects are balls to the wall in this first episode.
Oh, really?
Because they're like, they got to go to space and they got to sell it. Like, they got to really sell that they're in space early on. And there is a season 3 callback in this first episode, if you want to know what it is. It's not
Oh, yeah, sure.
So the way they get to space is through one of those obelisks that they use to go to that blue planet in season 3.
That makes sense.
So whoever these people are using alien technology already, and to do that. And then not every character went to space. Apparently, Fitz did not go to space with everybody else. He was not on the list.
You got to have somebody in the chair on Earth.
Yeah, guy in the chair. Yeah, so I'm really excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. Space, again, I feel strongly that it's going to try to end at the same time Infinity War drops. And, like, hopefully it won't affect Infinity War, but Infinity War will affect how it ends the other way. So really hoping for some synergy if the show wraps up then. So I'm excited. I've not caught episode 3 of Inhumans yet, but I think we're going to revisit that when the show's over at the end there. So
we got about 7 more weeks.
6. They did the first 2 last Friday, so episode 3 was this week. So
gotcha.
A few less than we thought, but there's also 2 weeks between when it ends and S.H.I.E.L.D. starts to make up for that 2-hour premiere. So
yeah,
got that going for us. But S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't the only thing to bring something to New York Comic Con. We actually got our first official teaser trailer for The Runaways coming to Hulu actually next month, in November 21st. So The Runaways is a Tuesday. November 21st is a Tuesday, which is weird for me to drop a show on a Tuesday. But all 10 episodes are coming to Hulu that day. And this show looks interesting, Mike. What do you think of this teaser trailer with The Runaways?
I was surprised to hear that you said that it's going to be dropping on Tuesday all at once. I was kind of expecting Hulu has been known in the past to do like a weekly rollout, which is totally fine. I have nothing wrong with someone rolling out a show weekly, but it's kind of cool that they're going to let us binge it. The trailer is definitely interesting. It's not as like a bombastic and crazy, obviously, as like a big budget, Justice League movie trailer that we talked about earlier. But yeah, it looks interesting. There's some intrigue there. We kind of knew a little bit about what was going to be happening in this show because The Runaways is already a pre-existing comic book. But yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Like, oh, the kids' parents are like in this kind of like secret like cave in one of these houses. Looks like they're sacrificing somebody or something or transforming them. I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, it's an interesting cast of characters. Everybody is like a real flesh and blood person on the screen, but they all look very unique and different. So they're doing some good styling there to make everybody stand out. kind of it feels a little like Breakfast Club-ish. Everybody's kind of got a different personality and they don't usually like hang out together. So I'm interested to see where this goes. It's our first Marvel show, not on Netflix or ABC, straight on Hulu. So I hope it works out well for them over there.
Yeah, actually, well, I guess Marvel Cinematic Universe show, because Legion was produced by Marvel Studios. It's just, we don't think it exists in that world. But the Runaways, definitely, to me, I mean, the kids look fun, the parents are their villains. I don't know much about it. There's a little bit of a velociraptor there called Old Lace that was like on top of one of the girls at one point. I want to see their powers. I want to see what they can do and how, is this going to get a season 2? Like, what happens? How do you tell the story in 10 episodes and where's it go? Because I am intrigued beyond intrigued. Like, I don't know very much, and I don't want to know a whole lot. And I think that's going to keep me entertained for 10 episodes. Which I think is a great place for this thing to drop, because I think that's where, like, that week is when Inhumans ends, or is very open to when Inhumans is already over and S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't started back up yet. So I think that's going to be a good place for Runaways to live. For
well, it's going to be that holiday weekend here in the States for Thanksgiving, so it's going to drop on that Tuesday. When people's family come in and out of town, carve aside some time, and maybe they're hoping people will watch The Runaways before they go see their families. Maybe they'll all talk about it at the dinner table. That's probably a very very ambitious thought to think, oh, if we put this on Tuesday, people will go talk about that with their families. Well, I guess, probably not, but who knows?
I guess that's a good point. That's on Tuesday, because that Friday's Black Friday when everyone's out shopping, and Thursday is Thanksgiving. So
gotta get your Runaways toys, everybody.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have too many of those, but yes. So Runaways was there. Another bit of news coming out this week, I don't know if this is Comic-Con related, is from the Luke Cage show, this was currently filming, that Danny Rand / Iron Fist will appear in this show and maybe take a bigger role. I don't know. His placement in the show is not very well defined yet, but we do have pictures of him appearing in Luke Cage, looking a little more clean cut than he has before in the other shows we've seen him in. This leads a lot of people to question, will they start the Heroes for Hire version of the show where that's how they started in the comics, a little bit working together, solving cases like on the low, like detective kind of stuff. I believe one of my favorite things was Earth Mightiest Heroes. They went to find the missing Ant-Man suit for Hank Pym. Mm-hmm. They were pretty goofy in that show. But
yeah, my opinions are very mixed on this, because of course we don't know how much he's going to be in the show. Is it going to be similar to how Luke Cage was in Jessica Jones, where he was just kind of like peppered in for a couple episodes here and there? He kind of like had his arc and then he dipped out. Is it just going to be like a cameo? He just kind of shows up for like one episode to do something cool, or is this like pretty much just going straight up like team up for the whole seasons? What could be possible? Because as we saw the movies evolve in Marvel, the movies basically became like team-up movies, especially looking at like Captain America movies, looking at the new Thor coming out. The new Thor coming out is Thor and Hulk, not just Thor. So maybe that's what they're going to do on Netflix. Maybe they're like, hey, this is our new version. We're post-Defenders. Let's just team everybody up to make everything more exciting. But to me, Finn Jones and Iron Fist it's just too toxic. I think he's unsavable. I had high hopes for the Defenders to kind of fix that. They kind of did. They made fun of him, but I was still sick and tired of seeing Danny Rand. I think he just totally needs a 180, and I just can't see a legitimate way to make that believable in the show. Like, I almost think he just needs to get hit on the head with like a piano and then wake up from a coma and he's just a totally different person. I think that's the only way I'm going to be on the side of Iron Fist. So I guess as long as Luke is just kind of like belittling him and like punching him, I'll be okay with it. But I don't think I can ever be on the side of Iron Fist, unfortunately. I think he's just that far gone for me. I think other people out there, you won't have much of a problem, but who knows? Maybe they'll both elevate each other, since we know that second half of Luke Cage was a little meh. Mm-hmm. So maybe kind of bringing these kind of like slightly weaker shows together, maybe it'll fix them. I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers.
So the thing is, Iron Fist, we're not big fans of it. The showrunner, pretty awful, and they already had to make the Defenders while that show was also airing at the same time, or filming at the same time, so they didn't have a lot of time to react to how people were going to do, but they did without knowing how people were going to react to him, they did salvage him a little bit more than they could have been. They could have just keep running him into the ground.
They tried. They definitely tried. I just don't think it worked.
But they just didn't, they had no clue it was going to be that bad. I don't think. I think they were like, we got to make this. We're on a timeline for these. While Luke Cage is still filming and they're writing, they've had time to probably adjust that feedback for the character. And if the end of the Defenders is to be spoiled here, if spoilers possibly continue on, that Iron Fist is taking over the Daredevil role of the city, like the city's protector at the end of it there, because Daredevil is quote unquote dead. But I don't know. I think they can salvage him. I think they can probably make him a little better. They probably listen to a lot of feedback. I mean, Luke Cage has been out 2.5 years now, maybe year and a half. No, not even a year. I don't remember how long Luke Cage has been out. We've lost track of time. But everyone was very much no, the second half of Luke Cage didn't work, kind of thing. It's pretty much a consensus across the board, So hopefully going into this, taking the showrunners, I think they listen. I think they're going to evolve, and I think we're going to be fine going forward. And
I sincerely hope you're right, Chris.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I'm hoping, that they react to it, because that's. I think having two, and I guess it depends on how. I think the Defenders was a pretty good show. Some people didn't, but 2.5 critically bad shows in a row. I think Marvel teased okay, we gotta work on this going forward. So knock on wood. But next is Jessica Jones, so we got that to look forward to. Sadly, we did not get to see any Punisher stuff this weekend because of. The panel was canceled, and the Paris event for Punisher was canceled because of some unfortunate events that happened early in the week in Las Vegas. So Marvel took their Punisher stuff off, so that's why we don't have a release date for the Punisher, and it's probably delayed due to those events as well.
Yeah, so, I think that's safe. I think that was a good idea to do. The Punisher, obviously, he's the gun guy. He's the gun anti-superhero, so I think they made the right choice. Some people out there probably think it was probably... a little too much, but it's better to be safe than sorry when you're kind of a giant corporation, and when you're dealing with one of the biggest mass shootings in history. Yeah, you probably want to give it some room.
Yeah.
But before all this happened, the rumors were, and they were pretty strong rumors, that they were going to show more than likely the first episode at the New York Comic-Con panel. And then at the very end of the panel, they're going to say, and you can go watch it right now. I heard that they were going to drop this on Netflix right after that panel. So we could have been doing a surprise spoiler cast today for The Punisher, if that was true. But, we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe now my prediction will come true. I did guess Veterans Day in November on that, 2 weekends before, basically 2 weekends before Runaways. So, maybe that'll still end up happening, They got to give it some room, some breath. It's unfortunate, but they made the right call.
Yeah, my theory was kind of it'd be the week after New York Comic-Con, but who knows at this point? It can be literally any day.
Yeah, it is kind of weird and morbid when you have to judge the news cycle of a tragedy. I wouldn't want to be those people that make that decision. So I think I'm going to be patient and not, be up in arms.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. October is a dry month superhero wise, so I could totally see them eating into their Inhumans audience a little bit to try to get the show out this month. But
yeah,
we'll definitely let you know when it drops, that's for sure. Regarding that, there's no Marvel movie news coming out of San Diego this week, despite we are on the cusp of the first trailer for Infinity War. Should be this month, and there was no Marvel movie news coming out of San Diego, or not San Diego, New York. But ironically, there is a top secret photo shoot happening this weekend for Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Top secret,
and it has been ruined by a couple people who were posting pictures of themselves and other people. Mark Ruffalo shared a Facebook Live video that was removed. And nearly every Marvel Cinematic Universe character was in this video. It's awesome. A who's who of what the characters. And at one point, Samuel Jackson's like, "What the is he doing?" To the video. So I don't know where that's up online, saved somewhere, but it was definitely on Facebook for a little bit. Come to find out, it's the 10-year Marvel Cinematic Universe anniversary photo shoot.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they're taking some time getting all the characters there. Infinity War is filming today even, so they got them in there, did their photo shoot, and then got them back to set.
They're going to need a big room or a wide lens because it's going to be a lot of characters.
Yeah, they'll probably just do like 2 or 3 and just shop them all in together. But I'm excited to see what these photos are and maybe whatever this article on the 10-year MCU is going to be, because I'm sure it's an article attached to it.
Yeah, well, you said this is a 10-year photo shoot. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they kind of do like a Blitz week for Infinity War. Maybe we'll get like one last trailer for Thor, before the movie comes out. Maybe they'll pair it up with like a sporting event, so maybe it'll be like a 30-second trailer.
Man, I tell you, I think in Black Panther before we even got a Thor one.
Oh, maybe they'll do that also, and then we'll get this article and this photo shoot, and then maybe the week will end up with Infinity War first trailer. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a week.
It'd be a good week for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, I think most of the May movies, their first teasers drop October 20th range. So once Star Wars comes out, we get time to settle in. All those tickets are sold. Boom, Infinity War trailer or teaser, and then we wouldn't know what to do with our lives, Mike. We would just they would know how to cover. But if they have photos to go along with it, I think that's very, very smart. If I was to be honest, here are some official photos. We're celebrating not just Infinity War, one of our biggest films, but the 10-year anniversary of Marvel, all in the same week. So
it would be really cool if they got the old villains back. That would be kind of cool to see someone like, Mads Mikkelsen or something like pop up in the photo, and some of the older villains that, quote unquote dead. It'd be cool to get like all of them in there. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
like Hugo Weaving. That'd be awesome. Bringing back the Red Skull. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I didn't look at the video too hard, but I mean, man, that's gonna be an intense May for us. That's for sure. And I want to see more Black Panther. I want to see so much more Black Panther. Mm-hmm. What I don't want to see more of is the Venom movie. And I did get one of our listeners, friend of the show, Patrick. He was like, "You don't sound too sold on Michelle Williams." I'm like, "I'm not sold on anyone joining the Venom movie." It's not the people themselves. Don't get me wrong. Michelle Williams, great actress. Tom Hardy, great actor. Venom movie. I need to be. Yeah,
it's a worrisome idea for a standalone movie at a worrisome studio. So that's kind of
with very bad people involved behind the sets. So but maybe hopes to get us excited again. Venom has added the choreographer and stunt teams from Civil War, John Wick, and the first Avengers movie.
I mean, that's a good stunt team. It sounds like at least we'll have some good action. That John Wick stunt team has got to be getting tons of work, because that's what everybody talks about in that movie. It's just like the action is just on point and amazing. There's not a lot of quick cuts to just like confuse you. You can kind of follow the action pretty well. So, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that is good news, Chris. I'm glad you told me.
Yeah, I mean, that's sounds like they're trying to pull out some stops. Like, hey, look, we're gonna get real good people for you here. Well, my funny thing, you mentioned that the John Wick stuff is, what did I send you whenever they had Owen Wilson's, all the gunshots replaced with Owen Wilson saying, wow. And I'm like, oh, now I can't watch this movie without hearing those sounds. So, yeah, I don't know. So,
there's an awesome YouTube video out there where somebody made their own little John Wick style short film with Nerf guns. And they did this awesome sound design for when the Nerf guns hit the bad guys. It makes that little Nerf kind of squeak noise. It's really great. So yeah, the sound that a bullet makes, that'll definitely change the way you look at a franchise.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Wow.
Oh, but in other news, another movie here, 2 in a row we get threatened with every week. The Gambit movie may have a director with Gore Verbinski, who is known for the Pirates of the Caribbean films. And he's in talks to direct the film, and it could go either way right now, according to reports. He could be yes or no.
Who knows? I mean, I've talked about the Pirates movie before on the show. First movie's good. They go downhill very quickly after that, so don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
I know what I need? I need Channing Tatum in the official Gambit outfit. I know he's probably going to be in different outfits throughout the movie, because as we talked about it a week or so ago, it looks like it's going to kind of take place throughout a couple different years. So, but I want to see what kind of the Gambit outfit is. Are they going to do some sort of headdress? Are they going to do something weird with his hair? Gambit's always seemed like a very slender, tall character to me, and Channing Tatum's kind of a bit of a beefcake. So I gotta buy into the visual of it, and then maybe I can buy into the rest of it through that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it looks like early on, Gore Verbinski had some good stuff going for him. I mean, he did The Ring right before he did the first Pirates movie, and even though The Ring, in hindsight, it's been parodied to death. At the time, it was kind of interesting. And how could we forget classic movie Mouse Hunt from?
I love Mouse Hunt though.
Yeah, Mouse Hunt's good, but like then Pirates 2, Pirates 3, Rango, The Lone Ranger. I like Rango, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Rango's good, but Lone Ranger...
Yeah, so, and then recently, this year, The Cure for Wellness, I believe it is, with Dane DeHaan. It's creepy.
Yeah, that came and went without a lot of words, so that could have been a good movie, but I just don't think anyone saw it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's considered a box office bomb. So he's got a lot of hit and misses, but maybe, give him a little freedom. Maybe we could capture his Curse of the Black Pearl. That it was kind of a big adventure romp tale kind of thing where you had to steal some stuff, and I don't know. I'm trying to be hopeful for Verbinski and Gambit, but it's really hard. It's really hard to be positive on that one as well. On that note, the Wolverine, we might have someone interested in playing the character, which I think might be a good idea if he could act a little better. Scott Eastwood wants to play the next Wolverine in the Fox universe.
Oh, Scott Eastwood, huh?
I think he's the right age.
He's there. You got to start him young because more than likely the next Wolverine will be around for a while. He's the biggest X-Men character out there. If you look up pictures of Scott Eastwood, kind of scroll through Google Images, you can see it. I think it's there. But it's just, it all comes down to like when is too soon to start the new Wolverine. It's weird. Like it feels like Logan came out last year. It came out this calendar year. We're still not like 24. We're still not 12 months out from Logan yet.
It's shooting for that Academy Awards.
But also, I'd be really curious if somebody out there had any statistics of going, how often does an actor saying they want to play a role end up they actually play the role? So we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like almost like if they are saying they want it, it's almost proof that they won't get it. It's always something we're not expecting. You never see the news article of like Scott Eastwood cast as Wolverine like 6 months after he said he wanted to be Wolverine.
Well, it's kind of like I always remember the story of Chris Evans turned down playing Captain America 3 times before he took the role because he's like, I don't want to. He's like, people remember, like he remembered being Human Torch and twice in a row, and that really those movies don't hold up very well.
No one remembers that, Chris Evans.
and then like he was also Not Another Teen Movie as the main character, so like he's like, I don't want to be going to another bad superhero movie and be stuck in it for.
You ended up making the right decision, Chris.
He did, and he did well. So Scott Eastwood could totally play Wolverine, but now he said it, he probably won't get it. So, right, that's sad. But he is taking on some more franchises. He was in Suicide Squad, and he's in Pacific Rim Uprising, Mike. Ooh, I don't know if you saw this. Now, I actually...
Pacific Rim.
We did. We get our first official trailer. Mike was on this, hotter than anything
I was
else.
on it.
And I actually got to see it. That played in the theaters before Blade Runner for me. So
awesome.
I've seen this trailer in theaters like a day after it premiered. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And this movie is everything we ever wanted from a sequel, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. I think verbatim you can find me saying last week on the podcast, all I need is some giant Jaegers with some just very impractical weapons, fighting some big monsters. And we ended up with like this giant like mace. Somebody had I saw some whips, like some electrified whips. Those look really freaking sweet. It just looks like a bunch of fun. A lot of the scenes that we see in this trailer are very well lit during the daylight. I definitely expect to see some fights at nighttime because that's kind of where you get some of that cool mood. The kaiju have some cool glowy parts to them sometimes, so I definitely expect to see some stuff at night. They mentioned that the humans created some of these demons or bad guys or something, so I think maybe some countries are using the Jaegers as weapons to fight wars against other humans, so that could be a possibility that they're going to have to worry about maybe a 3-way battle between Jaegers and kaiju. That would be kind of cool.
I definitely did see some Jaeger versus Jaeger battles in that trailer.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing a little bit with scale. There was a couple shots of maybe some smaller Jaegers. I don't know if they're like specializing because there also seem to be some smaller kaiju that seem to be swarming. So maybe that's what the smaller kaiju are for. Some people are saying they're getting some Transformers vibes out of this, and I think that's because of the smaller kaiju are basically the size of a Transformer. But yeah, I'm not really worried about any of that. Some people say they're getting a Power Rangers vibe, which I wasn't really expecting, and I don't know if people think that was good or bad. But yeah, this is definitely a younger cast, like that seemed to be maybe new recruits.
Did you watch Power Rangers?
No, not the new one.
Okay, well that's probably why you don't get that vibe. The ending of it is robots about the size of these smaller Jaegers fighting a very big, huge monster that's very like gooey. So
okay.
it looks, but it's all brightly lit. The way it is just brightly lit, and they're in a city for once.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like if I wanted Power Rangers to have a sequel, Pacific Rim Uprising was what I hope that sequel is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's a complaint. I wouldn't take it as a complaint. I'd be like, this looks like a better Power Rangers. So, I like it. I like to see. It was a clean cut Charlie Day. I'm not used to seeing a clean cut Charlie Day. In that, I'm glad to see some of the people. There seems to be some creepy guy. I can't think, like, what's his name there?
He was the scientific counterpart, right, of Charlie Day in the first movie. They were like both scientists together. If you're talking about the same creepy guy.
Yes, Herman Gottlieb or whatever, played by Burton Gorman in the movie. Yeah, so like he was in, I remember, The Dark Knight Rises, I believe. So yeah, I don't know. I like all the return of most of these characters. We get to see Mako Mori return, so on and so forth. And what was it? Like we said, we get to see Scott Eastwood as like his, I guess, Jake Pentecost's partner in the mechs. A lot of people thought that the mechs would just be single person handled, but it looks like these are going to be double people mechs.
Yeah, you gotta be drift compatible, man. Didn't you watch the first movie, people?
I did. Yeah, like a lot of they only showed one person per Jaeger in like some early screen photos.
Oh.
So they were thinking the smaller, like the itty bitty Jaegers were just single pilot Jaegers because they're smaller. So.
It could be possible. I like the idea that they're going to kind of expand this universe a little bit. I'm curious how the kaiju come back. Some people out there have theories, but I wasn't reading them because I didn't want to know. I want to go into a little bit unknowing. But I saw some people taking this trailer like a little too seriously. It's like, come on, like the first movie wasn't some sort of like perfect piece of art. It was just like there was just enough acting in between the giant robot monster fights to kind of keep the movie together. Like, you know, there wasn't anything like amazing going on between that stuff. You know, it was just serviceable enough to just end up being an awesome movie just in a different way. So yeah, don't take this movie or franchise like too seriously. It's just to go have a fun time. I'm going to see it in theaters. I'm going to see it on the biggest screen I can. I'll actually maybe look forward to seeing this movie in 3D if it is projected in 3D. Yeah, I'm just there for the fun time, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like everything has been cranked up a notch compared to the first one. And
let's have Ron Perlman come back. I want to see him show up again.
Ron Perlman, I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had here, I think. And to me, if I would say this is like the Kingsman 2 of Pacific Rim. Like, we're taking everything and just dialing it down. We're doubling down on everything. Robots, the kaiju are merging together to make a bigger one. Like, we're actually in the city and it's not just, you know, shadowy nighttime stuff. I don't know. I'm excited for it as well. Like, March normally is kind of a weird month, but we got this to look forward to, Mike. So they're padding next year down pretty early, and I like it. I like it. So you got it from us. You want to go see Pacific Rim Uprising? Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them got some new casting this week as well. A lot of people I don't know here. I'm going to be honest with you. But one character, Brontis Jodorowsky, the actor's name, will be playing Nicholas Flamel, the creator of the Philosopher's Stone in the British version.
Wow.
He created the thing that keeps you immortal or whatever. That was in the first book. So.
I think we need to start preparing our wives to come back on the spoiler cast review for the Fantastic Beasts sequel. Whatever it ends up being called, it's hard for me to imagine it's going to be called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2.
Again. Where to Find Them again.
Yeah.
Guess where they're at, Mike? They're in the case.
How to
never the
lose.
case.
I feel like it's got to be like Fantastic Beasts and How to Lose Them, or Fantastic Beasts and How to Train Them, or something like that. Make it a play on words or something.
Well, the sequel, like all this comes from Pottermore. The sequel synopsis is like Dumbledore, who is played by Jude Law, needs to defeat what's his face again, like the Johnny Depp character. But he's like, I don't know how, so I gotta go get Newt Scamander, who beat him the first time on accident. And it's like not even about losing, beasts in a city anymore. So they just they need to find a new naming scheme and go with it.
Yeah, I need to rewatch the first movie really bad since I fell asleep in it from jet lag. But I think I saw it's coming to a streaming platform soon. I don't know if it's HBO or Hulu or Amazon or Netflix, but yeah, this is going to be dropping on a streaming platform soon. So if you need to check it, there you go.
It's been out for over years. Probably it's been like a year and a half, like almost 2 years.
Yeah, which is usually around the time some of this stuff will drop on streaming. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up here on one of my things. You can stream it on HBO right now. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you're waiting for that next season of Game of Thrones, you need to pad that time.
I was gonna say I think this was on HBO because it was always on like before Game of Thrones or something recently. So because I remember catching the end of it recently when my wife was watching Game of Thrones. So there we go. There's a bunch more people being asked as characters I don't know and whatever. So if you're interested in any of those, check our show notes. You can check them out. I don't know any of them. Do you know any of them?
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
we're not the Harry Potter nerds in our households.
Not even close. A new TV series, or I guess web series, maybe wherever this a series coming called Raising Dion, from Michael B. Jordan, who will co-star and produce 10 episodes of the series based on a short film called Raising Dion, and then a comic of the same name. It's like a 3-minute short film or something like that. Yeah,
I believe it's Netflix that it's going to, and I think the order of operations when it comes to what it's based on is, I think the comic book was the original inception of the idea, and then to promote the comic book, they made kind of like a short film trailer for the comic. So I don't know if they're necessarily adapting the short film or adapting the comic or what's going on there, but yeah, it's supposed to be about a mother raising a kid that has superpowers.
Yeah, so this is like, again, the synopsis I read here is like, imagine Superman but Martha Kent's point of view, or Spider-Man from Aunt May's point of view. And it's like, he's like a little kid, like in the short film. I think he's like 6 or 7 maybe. I don't know. And they're going to turn it into a series. Now, we talked about this a little bit before, but I mean, I like Michael B. Jordan, but I don't think he needs to be involved in just superhero things. I think he can go above and beyond this, because after this, he'll have Fantastic Four, which we all want to forget about, Black Panther, and then this show. So
well, he was in Creed and Fruitvale Station, right? I think he was in Fruitvale Station.
Yeah,
I don't.
He was.
So I mean, he's got some kind of more serious stuff under his belt, and I'm sure he's not minding all of the paychecks that he's getting. But it's kind of cool to see this giant kind of movie star just seamlessly transitioning over to Netflix, and no one really bats an eye that like those two things can't cross anymore. I think the show's going to be structured where Michael B. Jordan will be the kid in the future with the powers, and I think what they'll do is they'll kind of split the episodes, kind of maybe like 60-40 or like 50-50, like, oh, well, we'll flash back and we'll show how the mom raised him, and then we'll see how that, lesson that kid learned in the past, gets him out of a jam in the future or something like that. But yeah, it looks entertaining and it looks fun. I checked the first couple pages of the comic book, I think like on Amazon, like you could kind of click through and see the preview, and they do show the kid older. So I think that's how Michael B. Jordan factors in.
Okay, yeah, and if he's doing this show, my assumption now is also that he probably dies in Black Panther. Like if he makes it out of Black Panther alive, I will be surprised, and then they'll let him go on and do another.
Hey, who knows? Project. They could resurrect all these bad guys in the Infinity War.
That would be the biggest shock out of that whole movie. Like getting original bad guys back, like getting Jeff Bridges as a bald man with a beard after he's gone through his country phase right now, to come back as Obadiah Stane or Hugo Weaving or even the guy who played the Frost Giant, I don't even know the actor. That would just be the biggest surprise, I think, to me. So
yeah, but check out our show notes at superheroslate.com, and you can get a link to that short film. It sells it really well. It's like it's almost more kind of like a trailer that's narrated, but it works really well. I could totally see how just that could kind of sell a show to Netflix. So I'd check it out.
Yeah, this is definitely there. And lastly, we're going to end the news on a series. I don't know if we covered it earlier last week or whatever, but Jack Ryan is getting a show on Amazon, and this time the character Jack Ryan will be played by John Krasinski of The Office fame. I don't know. I'm not big on... I love Tom Clancy stuff. I'm not horribly into all of it, but I definitely am liking this a little bit more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's not really something that would usually pop up on our superhero radar, but, it's a premiere trailer. I think it maybe came out of New York Comic Con, or at least they kind of synergized the timing.
Yeah.
I like John Krasinski, also known as Jim from The Office, as most people know him. We just rewatched all of The Office over the summer, and he's such a great actor. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm not a big Tom Clancy person either, but I saw a lot of people in the comments for the trailer on YouTube saying like, oh, I hope this goes well so we can kind of get our Rainbow Six show. So there's a lot of video game fans that might dovetail into this show as well, but it looks cool, and I mean, Amazon's a powerhouse. It looks like they might put a lot of love and care into it. But yeah, it looks cool. I want to see John Krasinski kick some butt. That might be fun.
Well, what's really fun is a lot of these people who have played the character Jack Ryan have gone on to do big superhero, big movies as such. Because I mean, the first one was Alec Baldwin, which not necessarily an action star, but Harrison Ford, Ben Affleck, and Chris Pine have all played Jack Ryan.
I was gonna say Chris Pine was the last one.
Yeah, he played I think it was a movie, Shadow Recruit. Ben Affleck was him in The Sum of All Fears, and Harrison Ford in the movies Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. So we've talked about most of those other actors in movies all the time, like Harrison Ford and Ben Affleck this week already. So
yeah, that would be really crazy to be talking about John Krasinski and like the DC universe or Marvel in maybe like a year or two.
Yeah, maybe he's the Joker, the origin Joker.
Oh man, actually, I feel like it's just crazy enough to almost work. Kind of like the Heath Ledger when he was announced, and people were just like, no, there's no way he could be it, but I can kind of see it. He's kind of got, he's got the lankiness, he's got the height to him,
It's all right. Crazy enough, it just might work.
Just crazy enough, man. All right.
So I mean, the whole reason, I mean, Jack Ryan, I think it's gonna be a good. Amazon's got a good series with. I haven't watched The Tick yet, and that's my fault. Because I don't have a way other than a computer to stream my Amazon just yet, because they don't have it on Apple TVs. But the second half of the season for that is coming back in February, I believe, for The Tick. So Amazon looks to be cranking out some good shows. So kudos for them for keeping up with the original stuff. That's our New York Comic Con coverage show for the year. Hopefully they don't have another one, otherwise we'll be caught off guard. But yeah, if anything else comes out of this, we'll cover it next week. If anything finishes up, and we'll go from there. But until then, I guess, Mike, where can people find you at?
Well, if they want to follow me, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to know what you're up to, where can they follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. I guess I'll put up my New York Comic Con pop collection, Mike, since you're begging me to.
You gotta
do it. Gotta hashtag the NYCC, because that's what it is. You can also read stuff on Comic UI, listen to the show Filmside Chats, or go to YouTube and search the DNN, Destination Nation, to see some videos I do there every week, and go from there. If someone's listening to the show for the first time, maybe they're from another country in Europe and wanted some Szechuan sauce, and now they're listening to our show for the first time, where can they find us at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host the show and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to check out all these trailers that we talked about and don't want to hunt down on YouTube for them, because sometimes you think it's a trailer and it's just a dumb reaction trailer, and that's not what you're looking for, you can get our show notes at superheroslate.com, and you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to pick up a Superhero Slate shirt, you can get that at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, please consider reviewing us wherever you listen to us. I think that's even easier to do now if you've updated to the new iOS and you're listening to us on iTunes. I'm sure it's probably easy on Android too. So yeah, we'd love it if you guys would just like take a second and drop us a comment or review wherever you listen to the show. We love that. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, if you want that accolade on your gravestone when you get buried, all you got to do is share
Send
the
us
show
some
with a
Szechuan
friend.
sauce.
Yeah, share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week.
Yes, that's right. And October, although it's a slow month on the superhero front, I believe November and December we're going to be back doing almost 2 shows a week for all of this winter. So if you guys have any questions or reviews you want us to answer on the show, make sure you send them to us. Hashtag Superhero Slate, tag us, whatever. We'll try to answer all your questions and comments. So we'll do that. So all right, well I guess we'll see you guys next week.
All right, goodbye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
All right, say something funny in the next 15 seconds, Chris.
Something funny in the next 15 seconds, Chris.